question is, giving, CSR, do these or can these actually form a very integral part of a business strategy?
Welcome to another episode of Create the Edge. And thank you so much for your continuous support throughout our journey. And today we bring back to you two of our amazing guests back for this episode because following our 50th Golden Jubilee episode, we were just talking about the importance of giving, the art of giving, as I like to call it, and also how important that is to basically, how that impacts the legacy that we all want to leave behind. And who better to actually bring that back than two people in our CTE family? Jacqueline Way, all the way from Canada once again, and my good man, my brother man, Carl Gough, all the way from Sydney. So, I mean, Jacqueline and Carl, they live, breathe, and they bleed to a certain extent, how they can always give to others selflessly, without holding back. And that is so beautiful. And each and every one of you who's actually been connected with them would absolutely agree with that. Because, I mean, Jacqueline, she's been a TEDx speaker, she's known very well for her initiative of 365 Give and Do One Give Day and stuff along those lines, which is so inspiring. And Carl, we've had Carl on CTE on one of our episodes about 4 months ago. Yep. And, it'll be great to actually sort of hear from him as to his growth, his journey from when he first started, when we spoke to him last, and where he's at this present moment, and how much, the art of giving, the art of, corporate social responsibility, has taken on, and how important it is for corporates to actually look into it moving forward. And Jacqueline, obviously, you've been working with corporates, throughout, the last decade or even more to a certain extent. So, I mean, how that can actually be brought together. So, I've got Robin Hood Gough, as Elaine actually
so kind.
renamed him, but I'm going to still call you the corporate Robin Hood, mate. So,
and it is totally okay to do that, because I come from Nottingham, which is where Robin Hood comes from. So it is. I'm completely on board with that.
I love that.
I do get a little bit worried about robbing, because I'm not a police sort of thing, but it's cool. I'm okay with it.
Jacqueline, Carl, lovely to have you guys back. So let's dive in. In both your opinions. Now, Carl, you've set up and you're living your passion. It's a commercial venture, but it's got such a high do-good social impact. Meet magic, okay? And Jacqueline, you've created 365 Give, something that started as education to child within the family has now evolved into a huge social do-good organization, a social entrepreneurship, if I may call it.
Global phenomenon.
Global phenomenon. So the question that I want to pose to both of you is, does giving or doing good / CSR, because the reason I'm trying to separate this is CSR does have certain negative connotations, at least in a Southeast Asian context. We've got a lot of stuff that doesn't sort of sit well, and a lot of companies do lip service to it. So the question is, giving, CSR, do these or can these actually form a very integral part of a business strategy? Can it be intrinsic? Can a business drive itself by focusing on that CSR of doing good, of giving?
I don't think, Joy, I think it's a great question, but I don't think people need to ask, can it? I think people need to ask themselves, when is it going to be? Because if you don't have a strategy around doing good for your business is not going to do good. Pretty simple. And I think if you look at the next generation of workforce coming in, whether it's the millennials who are already in the mid-levels of management, or it's the Generation Zers that are about to start entering the workforce, they really care about what your company's doing in the world, in the environment, for people, for kids, for whatever. So really, corporate social responsibility needs to be your homepage, not your products. What you're doing as a company needs to be your home page, right there. That is so true. You to attract.
That is so powerful.
Amen.
That is so powerful. Make CSR your homepage, not just a product. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
It's the same about when people say that you need to be kind and stuff along those lines. And I mean, kindness should be something which is within us rather than something which we have to work towards. It should be an automatic something from within. So
Beautiful.
yeah, absolutely
Right.
beautiful.
Beautiful point, Yusuf. You see, here's a parallel. Carl saying it should be the home page, and you're saying kindness should be from within. It should be an integral part. So which means commercial organizations look at your purpose, you're putting it down, you're working your purpose, but is it an integral part of doing business, which then comes back to that CSR being your home page? Love it. Fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I look at it in two ways, and obviously, we all want businesses, whether you're a small business or a large business, to give back to society. But the way that I really look at it is from the happiness perspective and the happiness of your people and bringing your people together. And that's what I love about corporate social responsibility is it gives your company, first of all, the opportunity to empower your team, because you can bring people together on your team, and they don't have to be your leaders, but they can be a diverse group of people from your team that come together and help you create these programs. Because when you actually let and empower your employees to help you make these decisions, it really brings them together as a community. So it's not just about the company giving money, because it doesn't have to be about that, but it's choosing where and what's important to your company and your employees and where they want to give and how they want to do that. Some employees like to go volunteer their time. So are you giving half days once a month so that people can come together and give their time? Are you doing things instead of just the keynote talk speaker that comes in? Are you actually integrating that into a workshop where they're doing something together that is good for the world? And I don't care if it's a community cleanup, or you're putting together homeless packages, or you're making sandwiches that you're going to all go give out to the streets in your downtown communities. But it's a way of bringing employees together. And what we do know for sure, that the body-brain connection will make your employees happier, because giving is scientifically proven to make you happier. I like to call it the dose effect. It's the daily dose of happiness. And it's this beautiful combination of dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and your endorphins. And this is what happens in your body when you give back, and your brain. So it reduces stress for your employees. It makes them happier, which in the big picture of your company makes a more productive employee. It reduces your healthcare costs, because they're not all suffering from stress and anxiety and depression. And it's saving your company money, and it's making people want to be where they are. They become your best company representatives. They tell stories about what you're doing and how you're doing good, and they end up being your best marketing tool when you actually bring them together to give.
Love it.
Beautifully said.
Look at the benefit.
Yeah.
So you just tapped out improvement in branding because of the advocacy that happens. Financial reduction.
It's like free marketing. Yeah.
Absolutely. Reduction in health cost. And these two create, a reputational value for that corporate brand and the individual brand who's doing the work. So great. So that's why CSR
people aren't looking at it as it's the return on investment. And it's this beautiful combination between the happiness of your people and your CSR program. And they've actually been able to measure in companies with this up to a 23% increase in your ROI because of incorporating and empowering their employees to give back.
Brilliant.
Absolutely, because happy people do better anyways. And Carl, I'd love to get your inputs regarding what Meat Magic has been doing for the last 4 months and how you've grown. Because I'm seeing so many collaborations that Meat Magic is doing with some of the larger corporates in Australia, and
very cool.
You've just come out of a meeting, a little while ago. So please tell us.
Just to Jacqueline's point, I really love how people can go to work and get high, because when you get that dopamine rush, you get high. It's giver's glow. It's give us high. It's all that beautiful stuff, and we've been doing that, with the corporates around town.